Why? Hello and welcome everybody. Also, good morning. So as popular requested, I don't know if you can say that, people wanted to figure out how to craft the Cogwork ring since I don't have this on the website as it's a bit of an expensive craft and there's a lot that can go wrong. So today I have liquidated part of my assets to basically try to fund the video. So in my inventory is not necessarily the average of what you need, but to try to make this video in one take. So we're going to go over the supplies, what their purpose is. Here are the fracturing orbs used to fracture the damage over time multiplier as shown right there. Here are my Cogwork bases. They are all 85. One of them is 84. I've got my delirium essences that we're going to craft on the Cogworks to try to fracture. I've got anger essences because this is our preferred way of crafting, as you can see with the fire damage roll there. I've got a null orbs for when things inevitably go wrong / we need to remove affixes. We're going to have a nulls. I have some life force, which is going to be used for reforge crafting. Occasionally, you may want to spend actually like 20,000 life force for some advanced crafts, but that's not for right now. Then I've got a whole bunch of wild bristle matrons, which are basically a cheaper form of using the bench where suffixes cannot be changed. They're about, a divine orb is about, let's see, actually, let me turn on my price checker here to show. I bought these at about 110 chaos each, and divines are 157 chaos, and this is 2. So it's almost 3 times cheaper to use wild bristle matrons. And then, yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. There is a way to clean the helical rings, but I'm not going to show that process now. Maybe a little bonus at the end. So with that being said, before I get started, Convoy, I can clean with any ring as long as it's high level, right? So I can just take like these iolite rings to help clean, right? Actually, I'll just take the vermilions. We just take the vermilions and we use any essence, right? To clean them. All right, here we go. So step 1 is we are going to use our delirium essence, and we are going to try to pull for the 15 dot multi. It rolls from 12 to 15. I like getting perfect. It looks much better. So step 1 is that. So this actually rolled 18 dot multi, perfect. If this rolled any extra mods, this is when you would annul. So now we're going to go ahead and try to hit the fracturing orb. These are close to 5 divines each. So here we go. All right, that one is bricked. So there is a method you can do to try to fix it. This might sell. I don't think that's going to sell. It's 46 decks. I'll go down the list and we'll show you how to clean a fracturing orb or clean a helical in a little bit, which is very RNG. It doesn't work every time. It's with recombinators. So now we're going to move on to the next ring. So we hit 18 dot multi. So this has 5 mods on it. Actually, this has 4. The light radius is a hybrid. So actually, we're going to go ahead and hit this. We might get lucky. If I actually fracture the T1 life, it'll probably sell, which is nice. So here we go. Second fracturing orb attempt. Okay, unfortunately, that one is really bad. We're not going to talk about that. So we're down about 12 divines so far. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm actually going to essence this vermilion. And if you see, it says fire damage essence on it. We're going to come over to the recombinator and we're going to go ahead and put in the vermilion, and we're going to put in that really bad Cogwork right over here. Then from what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and switch over to the unpredictable one, and our goal is to basically pull the Cogwork base but pull the fire damage essence from the vermilion, thus effectively cleaning your Cogwork. It's not going to happen every time. It's very RNG, but at this point, why not? You can save the price of the ring. The Cogwork ring is worth quite a bit, and there we go. That did not work, right? So we're going to just move that aside, and we're going to go to the next one. So this hit 16 dot multi, that hit 17, that hit 18. That has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 affixes. Annuls are pretty cheap here. They're 3C per, so I'm going to go ahead and double tap here. We just removed the dot multi. Okay, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. Great video so far. Here we go. Okay, we got an 18 multi roll again. Looks like we need to annul 1 affix. Hopefully not the dot multi. Okay, so now we have our 15 multi isolated, well, with the 4 mods. Let's go ahead and hit the fracturing orb. Surely it hits the dot multi. Okay, we can proceed to the next step. Let's go ahead and go. So I'm going to move this stuff over here. Next step. And I'm going to dump this in. All right. So here's the next step. The next step is pulling for tier 1 of any resistance. So fire, ice, or lightning both work. We're trying to work 1 affix at a time. So let's begin. I don't know if I really like the Ellie res. Like the tier 1 all res is kind of question mark. What would you do here, Convey, out of curiosity? Would you actually... I feel like I don't want to continue that. Like I'd rather the fire... No, fire is just objectively better. Fire is objectively better because fire is giving us bonus regen as chieftain. We don't want the Ellie res, so I'm just going to go. Actually, there's a T1 life roll, but I can't do anything with the T1 life roll. We want to work on our suffixes first, then we work on our prefixes. That's typically the way we're going to try to go and mess with this. So there is a tier 1 cold res. So now before we continue this, we are going to annul, and the goal of the annul is to remove the strength. Remember, you cannot remove the dot multi now that it's fractured. So this is a 33% chance, and we failed. So let's go again. Rarity, all res, rarity, there's a poopy roll, strength, some random crap. Remember, you're just primarily looking for a tier 1 or tier 2 res. I don't know what's up with these life rolls that keep rolling. I'm just going to pretend like... So, I'm going to ignore it. You could mess around and try to, like, Exalt Slam, remove the mana, do some other stuff. But it's so much better if you just work on suffixes first, and then you work on prefixes. You could have harvested, rolled Cold to Fire. Yeah, and then I would have annulled, and then I would have lost the Fire res. So you always want to spend the annul first. No reason to waste your life force. There's a T4 Cold res. Okay, there's an intelligence roll, more intelligence, dexterity. This thing really likes attributes. That's T4, T3. Okay, okay. Oh, wow. Oh, my. Okay. Wow, that ring is actually sort of kind of good, no? So, what we're going to do with this now, you don't usually hit a T2 life roll. What we're going to do now is we are going to change the lightning res to chaos. Now, Convey, in an instance like this, we do the more expensive method. Remember at the beginning of the video, I talked about a more expensive method with Life Force? We're going to go ahead and we're going to do the more expensive method. So, the first thing we're going to do before we continue is I'm going to change the Lightning Res to Fire Res. Or you could do it at the end. I don't really think that the process matters too much here, but just for people to see, we're going to type Lightning to Fire. So we want to change Lightning to Fire. So if you look at this Lightning roll, it's now going to turn to Fire Resistance. The next thing we're going to do now is we're going to go with an expensive craft. The reason I chose to go with the expensive craft is because we hit a natural 85 life roll, which is pretty good. It's not tier 1, but that's really good. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to do the process of add remove. So let me explain what you would normally do. What you would normally do if you had a bad prefix, which you normally will have, and you have a suffix open, right? Remember, Cogwork ring gives 4 suffixes and 2 prefixes and increased effect of suffix modifier magnitudes. This means you get more dot multi, a higher fire damage, higher resistance roll, and higher chaos. So what we would normally do is the Wild Bristol Matron into, right? You would do Bristol Matron into essentially Reforge Chaos. However, because of the scenario we have right now, we are going to do an add remove, and the reason of the scenario I'm trying to explain is we have that natural life roll, right? Sorry, bench suffix block, not matron. Sorry, bench suffix block. A little complicated when I'm trying to explain this ring. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to try to do this modifier here for add a new chaos modifier and remove another random modifier right here. So this is 17.5k yellow. Yellow, 17.5k. Do I just buy in Divine? I'm just gonna buy in Divine and make it easy because I don't feel like waiting. 29k. Here, let's go 3. 3 is 21k. That's 7,200. Whatever, just give it to me. Boom. Oh, it even saved the Divine. Okay, so what we're gonna go ahead and do now is we are gonna craft. So wait, what do I do here? Because we're gonna do the add remove, but I need to add a suffix first, right? So what suffix do I craft here again? I always get confused whenever I'm like trying to explain it, but when I'm doing it, I'm fine. Bench suffix block. Bench suffix block, add remove chaos. Right. The Wild Bristle Matron, Wild Bristle Matron comes in after all 4 of your suffixes are filled. We cannot use the Matron. To explain what the matron does is it adds a meta mod, but the problem is adding a meta mod when you have a suffix open is it can brick it, so you want full suffix before you do that. So now we also just gotta go buy the white seed. What is it? The primal? Is it called primal? What is it called? It's hard to understand for new players. Well, people wanted a video guide. Here's the video guide. Even the video guide is going to be complicated because it's a complicated game, you know? The thing about Path of Exile is there's always so many different outcomes that can happen, and because of all of these different outcomes, it becomes very difficult to try to explain every single stage, because as we saw here, something like this can happen. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go ahead and do suffixes cannot be changed for 2 divines, right? By applying the suffixes cannot be changed, we're basically going to protect the tier 1 fire resistance, and we're going to protect the fire damage, but then we gamble the life roll, but you're going to have to gamble at every stage in the ring. This is kind of how it goes. So suffixes cannot be changed, so we're going to craft that right now. Now what we can do with the suffixes cannot be changed is we can go ahead and do add remove. Where is our chaos? Oh, I actually need, oh my god, I need 100 more life force. Wow, that's unlucky. Okay, vivid life force, and I have a divine. Let's just place that. Perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna go ahead and do is the goal is actually, we could be finished right now, is we click this, it's going to add a mod, it's going to guarantee add chaos res, and it's going to remove a modifier. It could actually just remove suffixes cannot be changed, and then we're done. Or it could remove the life roll and give us a poo-poo chaos roll, and then we kind of have to start all over again. So here we go. Add remove.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
I mean, I feel like I should sell that. That's sellable, no? That should absolutely be sellable. Because now we just craft increased damage. No and no. See, Convey, even you told me that you have to break even with your profits. This has every stat is good but the chaos res. T2 life, perfect essence, T1 fire, and then you craft increase and you sell it. The process is pretty much done though, right? The process is pretty much done. How do you cap chaos res without rings? You're thinking of the build guide, but you have to remember to sell to the player, right? So if I were the player right now in this instance, you would sell this item. And why would you sell this item? Because all you have to do is craft increased damage on this ring. And even if I were to price check it, I don't even know if we can fully price check it. That's obviously not correct. But the point is you would sell this and you would work on another ring, right? So in the instance, to explain what would happen here, right? If you wanted to continue, this is when you have to gamble. So do you remember these wild bristle matrons where we didn't use any of them? Well, the purpose of these wild bristle matrons would be for doing suffixes cannot be changed, and then you reforge life and you repeat this process hoping to get a good life roll, and then you craft increased damage. There is about a 10% chance, unfortunately, when doing this craft that your prefixes fill, which means you have to RNG a null, and then you kind of have to start all over if it bricks. But that is pretty much how the process would work on the Cogwork ring. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Sorry it got a little confusing halfway through there. It's a little weird because the Cogwork has 4 suffixes and 2 prefixes, so my brain gets a little bit confused. But that's pretty much about it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, you can catch me streaming live every day at twitch.tv/Pohx, except for Sundays. See you guys all tomorrow.